What's up, guys? This is Chaz and Charlie, and today I want to discuss the concern with treating weed as a medicine, or the danger of regarding weed as simply medication. Okay, so first disclaimer, I am not a healthcare professional. All this is purely based on my observance, my personal experience. So you have health question, please seek a healthcare professional. That is not myself. But there's a big issue with weed just simply being regarded as a medication. And I'm going to give a second disclaimer of I'm aware that weed has healing properties for autoimmune diseases like cancer, sickle cell, so on. I'm aware that there are many people who struggle with PTSD, coming back from war, and need weed to just get a night's worth of sleep. I am aware there are sick children that are going back and forth to the hospital on various drugs that's not helping them, and they have found the most help out of weed or CBD. I'm aware of those cases, and I'm not against that at all. If you have to seek out medication and you're using weed and it is a safer alternative than most pharmaceuticals, that's great. That is the purpose that weed should be used for. But many times when I put these videos out, people throw up the thing that it's medicine, I need it to sleep. Some people have PSD, it's medication, when most people who use weed are not sick. They say stats were like, don't quote me, but they said like at least 49.8 up to 50% of the American population have smoked weed at least once. So that's a lot of people. And I'm not going to say all those people are sick or have cancer or have PTSD. Most people who use weed use it recreationally. But yet most who abuse weed, because also, guys, I'm not like, oh, don't smoke weed ever, or if you smoke weed one time every now and then, that's bad for you. No, I'm talking about people like myself who was addicted to weed. I needed weed every day, all day, in order to just get by a normal day, where that's kind of a problem. But people like who I was, tend to use the argument that weed is a medicine. It's safer than drugs. It's better than alcohol. It helps me sleep. Helps me with depression. Helps me with anxiety. It's a natural herb. It's a plant. Yada, yada, yada. I understand that. I get that. But, okay, it's a medication. Can we agree that it's not good to be on the same medication for, let's say, 10, 15, 20 years? All medication, whether it's natural, whether it's from the pharmacy, should always be used temporarily. The aim should be you need this for a short period of time or an allotted period of time to help you get over certain symptoms, because most medications just cure the symptoms. They don't actually cure the disease or the root problem, just like weed. If you're aspirin, if you're having a headache, the aspirin is going to cure the symptoms from the headache, but it's not going to cure the root cause of what gave you that headache. That's going to take a more deeper introspection, a more concentrated test and observation on what's causing that. The same thing with weed. If you are smoking weed for anxiety, it's going to temporarily cure your anxiety, but there's a reason why you have anxiety. If you use weed to sleep, oh yeah, it'll make you go to sleep, but there's a deeper reason on why you can't go to sleep. So The harm with using weed as a medication, we use it as a scapegoat just to continue to use weed. Hold on, guys. So let's be honest, guys. Most people who smoke weed all day, every day are not sick. We smoke weed because you like to get high. You like how it makes you feel. You're used to the ritual of rolling weed. You're used to just using weed as a crutch to help you get over whatever symptoms of your life. But the problem with any medication saying that we need that for a long period of time, and ignoring the root cause of what's causing the issue, is you're allowing an outside source to dictate how you feel, how you handle, or how you can get over a problem. I really think it limits yourself. You say, I need weed to sleep. Okay. You smoke weed for about a year or so to help you get a good night of sleep. Have you also at the same time researched why you can't sleep? Have you taken sleep tests to find out if there's any issues as far as sleep apnea, any obstruction in your breathing? Did sleep tests? Went to a lung doctor? Have you searched out issues that can allow you to sleep on your own? So just because you need weed to sleep for a short period of time, is that saying you're going to need weed to sleep forever, for now on? Why are you giving weed that much power in your life? And just like with any medication for a long period of time, the longer you use it, one, you're going to get immune to it. It's going to be less powerful. You're taking weed to sleep for, a year or 2 or 3 or 5, about a 5th year or sooner than that. They've said that it has the reverse effects. You tend to have worse sleep smoking weed for a long period of time. The longer you use any type of medication, whether it's herbal, natural, or made in a lab, your body is going to get used to it and is going to have adverse effects. It is true that weed is a more natural medication, probably better for your body. Also, if you ingest it internally, the argument of smoking weed versus ingesting weed, I think, can be debated too. Now, edibles have become a lot popular over the last 5-10 years, so more people are ingesting edibles, but I think that's part of people being addicted to it. There are usually people who are smokers who like the idea of smoking, which you can argue you might have a tobacco addiction to. Unless you smoke joints, I guess that's not tobacco, but anything that you're burning is going to be less healthy than you're taking in a pill form or in a tincture or in an edible. But anything you take for a prolonged period of time, again, whether it's natural made in the lab, you're going to have some side effects from it. It's no argument that, you smoke weed for 10 years, you're not going to develop any issues from smoking it for a long period of time. Now, it may not be the same issues you develop taking a prescription drug, but we can't deny that there is some issues we'll get from using weed for a long period of time. And you can say, well, no, I'll get those issues, but it's better than what I would get if I was taking pills. And okay, I get that, but shouldn't we I think as people, as a person, we should always be aiming for a better version of ourselves. And, using excuse, well, I could be doing worse, or it's not as bad, but, yeah, but why is that still acceptable to us? Weed is better than alcohol. Yeah, but there are still some negative effects of weed too. So just because it's better than the other thing don't mean that we can't, try to eliminate the lesser evil out of our life as well, or not be so dependent on it. And then with using weed as a medication, you know, most of us are not going to a doctor to get weed. You know, I mean, maybe I wouldn't trust a doctor if they were giving out the weed because they may, you know, do something to it. But, you know, different strands do different things. Different doses has different effects on us. And most of us don't really know what strand to take for what. Don't know what dose is best for what said thing. We're just buying a bag of weed from our weed man or from the dispensary and just kind of freewheeling it on our own. We're just, you know, smoking or ingesting what feels good to us. We're not going to a professional who's dedicated to, you know the science of marijuana, because doctors, of course, we know they don't have many long studies on marijuana, so they don't even know really what's best for people. And there aren't many weed doctors out there, you know, depending on probably what area that you live in, and with a number of states growing more and more states becoming legal, maybe they are popping up more, these herbal doctors, but it's still relatively a new thing. So we don't even really have medical proof on, you know, what strand is beneficial for us, how much we should take. So the idea of we're still, you know, using weed as a using the excuse that it's medicine, okay, if we get addicted to it, it still can present some type of issue, some type of side effect in our life. And again, I'm not against certain illnesses. For example, I always say this, you know, I've looked at a documentary and there was a child who was sick. I really forgot what illness the child had. It could have been cancer. No, I know one little girl had a tumor on her brain, which that's some horrible shit. I could not imagine any of my children having a tumor on their brain. And her mom, of course, they had several treatments and chemo and this and that, and things are not working. She finally gave her child some CBD, and the child started to get better. I'm not going to argue with that. If I was in that position, I would give my child all the CBD, all the weed in the world, if that meant them living a better life, a healthier life. I'm not arguing that at all. But most people who smoke weed because they just love to get high. That just is the norm. That's people aren't, you know. I think you probably have to do more convincing to people who are sick to smoke weed. There, you know, a lot of them may have the stigma that, you know, they're doing drugs. So I think they need convincing to actually smoke weed. But, you know, us people who, you know, just love to get high, we love to use the excuse that, you know, weed is a medicine. So if you are using weed to help you get over an illness, or help you get some sleep, or help you to not be depressed, that's great, that's good. But let's try to find the root cause of whatever that you're going through. Let's not just stop at, oh, weed helps me with my symptoms, so I should just smoke weed for the rest of my life. We can always find things that we can use as a crutch that, you know, may not be that bad. But again, we would like to be our most optimized self, and our optimized self should not depend on weed, aspirin, any of these things for a long period of time. So I'm not here bashing people who smoke weed because they're sick, but let's quit using every single small thing as an excuse just to smoke weed all day, every day. And, you know, weed has come up with, you know, the stupidest things. You know, they say when the whole coronavirus thing first started, that people who smoke weed didn't get it because I guess weed made their system immune to it. I mean, weed heads come up with the most unproven scientific facts to use excuse just to go on a porch and smoke a joint. If you want to smoke a joint, just smoke a joint and say, I just want to smoke a joint. And I'm sure people don't have a problem with saying that. But for the ones who want to say it's a medicine, like, let's be straight up with yourself. You're not sick. You just want to get high. So maybe you guys feel different. Maybe you guys have a different take on the whole topic. I would like to know. So you guys can comment below. Until next time, guys, please like, subscribe, share, and remember, despite what you think, we are all in this together. Peace.